Let's go to the edge of the trading floor in Chicago, where standing by with us is Scott Gecas with Walsh Trading. First of all, let's talk about this wheat market. What a big surge here. You know, you look at this grain export inspections numbers, it wasn't too far off of last week's mark either, which was, a pretty big number. Has that added to some of the enthusiasm in the cereal grain?
Oh, yeah, for sure. With the meat market, or with the wheat market in particular, you're running into a lot of different things, a lot of bullish news, a lot of bullish catalysts for more movement to the upside. Number one, the cumulative sales, as far as all the grains go, they were at 102% versus the 5-year average of about 98%. That was the only grain market that had higher than expectations. So that's one of the biggest bullish catalysts as well. But with all this wetness and all the weather coming into play, the quality of the wheat, and there's disease concerns with the wheat market, that's adding a little bit more fuel to the fire to the upside. So we're going to keep an eye on that and how that's going to be moving forward. But just in general, this is the first time in a very long time where you're seeing the weather completely outshadow all the trade war talks and all the headlines that are coming across on a daily basis. So the weather is definitely the main thing that's what's driving these markets higher in recent days. You know what?
That's a great point, too. And we were looking at Tim Ross's map here just a moment ago, and he shows where this big weather system that's in Kansas right now is going to go right up into the I-states, right over the corn growing regions. Has that helped this corn market take off as well?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And everybody is waiting for this number to come out later in the day, see where the actual planting is going to be. Now, last week we were talking about if we can't be around 50% around this date, then that's going to be a big factor. Now, if we have a switch from a more acreage and adding to soybeans, if we just add just 2 million more acres, the stock usage ratio is going to be the highest since the 1985, 1986. That's a significant stat. So we're going to keep an eye on this number. That's going to definitely be a big draw going into tomorrow's on the open.
All right, Scott, speaking of numbers, we need to relate what's going on in the livestock for those numbers. We're going to do that next and come back and visit with you about that market next here on the Market Day Report. We've been having a conversation with Scott Gecas with Walsh Trading. They're at the edge of the trading floor. Now let's shift gears and go over here and talk about the livestock trade. What the positive is in the grains is basically turned to a negative here for the cattle market. Feeder cattle have got to be looking at these corn prices with a pretty sharp eye and trying to pencil in what things could be like if, in fact, we do have, as you said, planting progress less than 50%.
Yeah, everything is going to be determined on that grain number overnight. So we're going to see how that's really going to play out. I want to mention that the one key stat that really sparked my interest today was with the cattle market. We had the weekly exports to China. It was the highest 1 week export to China since 2003. So that's a little bit of a bullish catalyst. That was a little bit more surprise. And then plus we had the positive news with Japan over last week. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We expect that seasonal demand, the grilling season's starting to come up. As long as the weather still holds, we expect that demand to increase and add a little bit more bump up to the cattle market. So we're going to have to wait and see if that demand actually shows up.
Which, we're getting into, in looking at Tim Ross's temperature map that he has up right now, those 80-degree temperatures by the end of the week go all the way up north as far as Michigan and Indiana and some of the Great Lakes regions. And it's also on Monday, Memorial Day, and there's going to be a lot of folks off spending time with family over the weekend. Is that what this cattle market needs, is a shot in the arm? And the whole protein complex, I guess, that people get out and throw some meat on the grill?
Yeah, that's what I expect. I know here in Chicago, we're already seeing the big flyers for big meat sales across the board, just various grocery stores or meat packers or anything that you can go and actually physically buy that physical meat. So, we're going to wait and see how this next few days is going to lead up to until next Tuesday. But we do expect, with the decent temperatures moving forward, we expect a big increase of beef usage. So we'll see how those numbers are going to play out in the next few days.
All right, let's see what those numbers are saying right now. Now, it has been weaker today. We mentioned that earlier. Over here in the live cattle market, we're down 10 on the June. August is down 25. October down 23. So this is all kind of within range of each other. And the range is about $1 lower for the feeder cattle market. August down 103, September down $1.10, the October down 97 at 146.35. Scott, this hog market a little bit mixed today.
Yeah, the hog market's everything is going to be due to the headlines. Now, some of the fundamentals that have already came out, their cumulative sales are already well above 14%. Out of that 14% versus last year, China's imports, even with those cancellations that were coming out, which is the reason for the little bit of a pullback. However, their imports increased about 23.5% of all of the U.S. pork. So, I mean, the demand is still there. Global tightening is still going to be a concern moving forward. Now it's still just going to be determining what are the headlines going to say in the next few minutes here and there or over the weekend.
Okay, Scott. Thank you very much. Appreciate the insight. Scott Gecas, Walsh Trading, there at the edge of the trading floor in Chicago. And we